Most men don't realize the real reason they slow down after 50 isn't age at all. It's an electrical collapse inside the body that no doctor ever warned them about. For more than 30 years as a physician specializing in men's health, I've watched thousands of men regain clarity, steadier circulation, and daily strength once this hidden problem is finally corrected. Because the truth is surprising, your heart, nerves, and circulation don't fail first. Your minerals do. And when two essential minerals quietly slip below optimal levels, the entire electrical system of the body begins to lose power. But here's the good news. When you restore the right balance, especially through a simple hydration shift, many men experience improvements far faster than they ever expected. In a moment, I'll show you the exact mineral combination men over 50 can add to their water to support circulation and revive daily vitality. Before we go any deeper into this important message, take a moment to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another health lesson designed specifically for men over 50. And if this information speaks to you so far, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 and tell me how I can create content that serves you better. 1. Your body's electrical system weakens with age, and no one warned you about it. Most men believe that the slowing, tiring, and stiffening they feel after 50 is simply the body aging, a natural decline that no one can escape. But after more than 3 decades working with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I've come to understand something far more revealing and far more hopeful. What feels like age is often the gradual collapse of the body's internal electrical system, a breakdown almost no doctor ever explains. I remember one of my longtime patients, a former Navy mechanic, telling me he felt as if his internal engine was losing voltage. And as strange as that sounded, he was describing something incredibly real. Your heart, your circulation, your nerves, every part of your vitality relies on electrical impulses to function. Those impulses are powered not by willpower, not by exercise alone, but by minerals that silently decline as the years pass. When those minerals drop, the electrical flow weakens, and suddenly your body doesn't feel like yours anymore. Blood doesn't move the way it used to. Energy doesn't stay steady through the day. Mental clarity flickers. Muscles tire quickly. Even your motivation starts to fade, and you begin to wonder if this is simply the way life goes after 60. But here's the truth I wish every man heard earlier in life. Your body isn't failing you. Your electrical system is starving. And the symptoms so many men quietly endure aren't warnings of permanent decline. They're signals that the system powering your heart and circulation is losing fuel. I've seen men who thought their best years were long behind them regain steadiness in their step, warmth in their hands, and strength in their mornings simply by restoring what time had taken away. It's not about reversing age. It's about returning power to a system that still wants to work for you. The spark inside you didn't disappear. You just need to understand what keeps it burning. And that brings us to the mineral most men overlook entirely, even though it quietly shapes every beat of the heart and every surge of energy you feel. Because once you understand what this mineral does and why your body loses so much of it after 50, the next step in rebuilding your vitality becomes strikingly clear. 2. Magnesium, the quiet mineral that keeps a man's circulation alive. If there is one mineral I wish every man over 50 understood, it's magnesium. Not because it's trendy, not because it's marketed as a miracle, but because I've seen firsthand what happens when a man's body slowly runs out of it. Magnesium is the silent force behind more than 300 functions in the body, yet most men never think about it until symptoms begin to whisper. Tight calves at night, cold hands in the morning, a pulse that feels a little too forceful or a little too faint. I remember a patient of mine, a 68-year-old grandfather, who came to me frustrated that he couldn't walk as far as he used to. He said his legs felt heavy like they were wrapped in sand. What he didn't know, and what most men don't realize, is that magnesium is what allows blood vessels to relax and carry blood smoothly. When magnesium levels fall, the vessels stiffen, circulation slows, and the body begins to feel older than it actually is. Magnesium is also essential for keeping the heart's rhythm steady and the nervous system calm. When it's low, a man may feel restless for no reason, wake up unrefreshed, or notice that even mild activity drains him faster than it should. It's not weakness, it's not a lack of effort, it's a mineral deficiency quietly altering the way the body functions. I've had men tell me they thought they were losing their drive, their strength, even their confidence. But the moment magnesium levels were restored, they felt a shift, as if someone had eased the tension inside their chest and legs, allowing their circulation to move freely again. It's remarkable how something so small, so overlooked, can influence so much. And yet, magnesium decline is almost guaranteed after 50. The kidneys excrete more of it, the digestive system absorbs less of it, and stress depletes it even faster. This is why so many men begin to feel the symptoms they later chalk up to aging. But aging isn't the culprit. Depletion is. When the body finally receives the magnesium it has been missing, many men describe a sense of calm strength returning, a steadiness they thought was gone for good. But magnesium is only one half of the story. To truly bring your body's electrical system back to life, there is 3. Sodium, not the enemy, the essential partner in electrical hydration. If magnesium is the quiet stabilizer of a man's circulation, sodium is the spark that keeps the entire system alive. Yet for decades, men, especially older men, have been taught to fear sodium as if it were poison. I've lost count of how many patients sat across from me, worried sick about using even a pinch of salt, convinced it would harm their heart. But what most of them never realized is that the body doesn't run on fear. It runs on balance. And sodium, in the right form and the right amount, is absolutely essential for maintaining that balance. I remember one patient in his 70s who told me he felt dizzy every time he stood up and exhausted after the smallest tasks. He thought it was age. I suspected something simpler. When we finally restored his sodium levels to where his body needed them, the change was immediate. He stood tall again, steady on his feet, and he looked at me with disbelief. "I had no idea something so small could make such a difference," he said. Sodium helps regulate fluid movement, nerve firing, and muscle function. Without it, your cells cannot hold water, your nerves cannot transmit signals, and your muscles cannot contract efficiently. It is not the villain so many believe it to be. It is the very mineral that gives your electrical system the charge it needs to work. And here's the surprising part. As men age, they often lose sodium faster, especially if they drink more plain water, take certain medications, or follow low-salt diets without medical supervision. The result is what I call silent dehydration, the kind that leaves you feeling weak, foggy, and unstable even when you're drinking plenty of water. Most men mistake this for aging, but it's the body crying out for electrical support. When sodium is restored properly, something begins to shift. Strength feels more reachable. Energy becomes more consistent. Hydration actually stays inside the cells instead of passing right through. The body begins to feel grounded again, like it has found its footing. And this is why sodium matters, because without it, the electrical system cannot fire, no matter how much magnesium you take. But here's where the real breakthrough happens. When sodium and magnesium come together, the body doesn't just function better, it transforms. And understanding that partnership is the key to unlocking a level of vitality most men never realize is still possible. 4. Why magnesium plus sodium together work far better than either alone. If magnesium is the steady hand and sodium is the spark, then together they form the current that keeps a man's body truly alive. Over the years, I've watched countless men try one mineral or the other, magnesium for relaxation, sodium for energy, only to feel partial relief. They expected a full return of strength, but instead they got fragments. And that's because the body doesn't operate on fragments. It operates on synergy. I remember an 82-year-old patient of mine who struggled with fatigue that no amount of sleep, walking, or hydration could fix. He took magnesium for months and felt only mild improvement. He added sodium but still felt incomplete, like something inside him refused to fully turn back on. It wasn't until he combined them, balanced and consistent, that he felt what he described as the lights coming back on. His circulation warmed, his steps grew steadier, and his energy held through the day instead of sputtering out by noon. That experience mirrored what I'd seen in dozens of other men. Magnesium relaxes the vessels so blood can flow freely, but sodium helps the nerves fire so that flow is strong and purposeful. Magnesium supports calm and flexibility, while sodium supports power and conductivity. Alone, each one gives you a piece of the puzzle, but together they complete the electrical system your body depends on. When circulation improves, men often feel it in simple but meaningful ways. Hands that aren't cold anymore, legs that don't ache as much, mornings that start without the usual heaviness. And when the electrical impulses fire more efficiently, the mind sharpens, the body hydrates more effectively, and energy becomes something you can trust again, not something that fades without warning. This combination doesn't act like a stimulant or a quick fix. It works quietly, rebuilding the foundation that age began to chip away at. And once the system is supported, men often rediscover a sense of control they thought they had lost forever. That's why so many describe the experience as a return to themselves, not a transformation into someone new. But to truly understand how this combination impacts your hydration, your circulation, and even your daily stamina, we need to talk about something men consistently misunderstand: what real hydration actually means and why water alone is never enough. 5. Poor hydration isn't about water. It's about water absorption. One of the most surprising truths I've learned after decades of treating older men is that dehydration has almost nothing to do with how much water you drink. I've met men who carried a water bottle everywhere, sipping all day long, yet still felt tired, lightheaded, or sluggish. They were confused, sometimes even embarrassed, wondering how they could drink so much and still feel so depleted. I remember a patient in his early 70s who told me, "Doc, I drink more water than anyone I know, but my body acts like it hasn't seen a drop." And he was right, because hydration isn't about pouring water in. It's about whether your cells can actually pull that water inside and use it. As we age, the body becomes far less efficient at absorbing water. The cells lose some of their natural flexibility, the electrical balance shifts, and the very minerals responsible for moving water across cell membranes begin to decline. Without enough magnesium, the cells can't stay open and receptive. Without enough sodium, the body can't move water into the tissues where it's needed. The result is what I call surface hydration, water that passes through you without nourishing anything. Men describe it as needing to drink constantly, getting up to use the bathroom more often, feeling bloated yet strangely thirsty, and never experiencing that deep sense of replenishment they once felt in their younger years. But when magnesium and sodium return to proper levels, an entirely different experience begins. Instead of water slipping through the body, it starts to stay where it belongs. The cells awaken again, pulling in fluid, restoring volume, and supporting circulation with a strength many men haven't felt in decades. Hydration becomes efficient, not repetitive. Energy lasts longer. Headaches lessen. Dizziness fades. There is a grounded feeling that returns, a feeling men often describe as finally being hydrated for real. And that, more than anything, shows how deeply hydration depends on minerals, not water alone. Once men understand this, hydration stops being a daily struggle and becomes a source of steady strength. But as powerful as proper hydration is, it sets the stage for something even more important: how these minerals protect your circulation and energy from the slow erosion that happens silently with age. 6. Circulation and vitality decline. Not from age, but from mineral drift. One of the hardest things for many men to accept is that their declining energy, slowing circulation, and increasing stiffness are not signs that their best years are behind them. They are signs that the body is shifting out of balance in ways most people never notice. I've seen this pattern so often that I can almost predict it. A man in his 60s or 70s begins to feel colder in his hands and feet, more tired in the afternoons, less steady on long walks, and gradually less connected to the strength he once relied on. He assumes it's age. His friends assume it's age. Sometimes even his doctor assumes it's age. But when we look deeper, the story is almost always the same. The minerals that once kept his electrical system sharp have quietly drifted out of range. Magnesium and sodium in particular are lost more rapidly as men get older. The kidneys filter them out faster. Medications can push levels even lower. Stress burns through them. And diets that were once appropriate can become insufficient without anyone realizing it. Little by little, this mineral drift changes the way the heart pumps, the way the muscles respond, the way the brain maintains clarity, and the way the body recovers from even small exertion. I once worked with a retired firefighter who told me he felt as if life had turned the volume down on him. He wasn't in pain, he wasn't sick, he just felt muted, like his body wasn't fully participating in his day anymore. When we restored his mineral balance, particularly magnesium and sodium, it was as if someone had turned that volume knob back up. His circulation strengthened, his feet warmed, he had more endurance, and he told me he felt plugged back in again. This is why I emphasize mineral balance so strongly. It's not about chasing youth, it's about restoring the foundation your body needs to function the way it was designed to. When circulation improves, energy follows. When electrical signaling sharpens, movement feels easier. When hydration becomes efficient, recovery comes naturally. These changes compound in ways men can feel every single day. And once you understand that decline often begins with this silent mineral drift, the next question becomes even more important. How do these small corrections add up over time, and what kind of transformation can a man expect as the weeks and months go by? 7. Small daily improvements add up, especially after 60. One of the most encouraging things I've witnessed in my years of working with older men is how profoundly the body can respond to small, steady changes. Many men expect that any improvement at their age must come through dramatic efforts or complicated routines. But the truth is far simpler and far more hopeful. I've watched men who felt worn down by years of fatigue slowly regain a sense of strength and clarity just by supporting their mineral balance day after day. The shifts don't arrive like a lightning bolt. They unfold quietly, layer by layer, exactly the way real lasting change is meant to happen. I remember an 80-year-old gentleman who told me he didn't believe small changes could make any difference for him anymore. He had convinced himself that his body was beyond responding. But after a week of proper hydration with magnesium and sodium, he noticed something subtle. He wasn't waking up as stiff. After 2 weeks, he realized he wasn't as tired in the afternoons. After a month, he told me he felt more present in his own life again. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a sudden transformation. It was consistency, giving his body exactly what it had been lacking for years. These small improvements stack up, and for older men, they often stack up faster than expected because the body has been waiting for the right support. I've seen men regain warmth in their hands and feet, sharper thinking in the morning, steadier balance, and a kind of calm endurance that reminds them of who they used to be. And the beauty of these changes is that they don't fade quickly. They anchor themselves into your daily rhythm, allowing you to trust your body again. There is something deeply empowering in watching a man realize that he is not powerless in the face of aging, that his health is not slipping away but is instead waiting to be reclaimed. And once these small improvements begin to build, men often discover something even more remarkable, that age doesn't diminish the body's ability to grow stronger. It only changes the way strength is rebuilt. But the true turning point comes when a man realizes that beneath all these layers of improvement, his body still holds a tremendous potential that can rise again once the right conditions are in place. 8. The most important truth: your body still responds, no matter your age. One of the greatest misconceptions men carry into their 60s, 70s, and beyond is the belief that their bodies no longer respond, that improvement is behind them, that strength can no longer return, that vitality is something they once knew but will never feel again. I've sat across from so many men who lowered their expectations year after year, convincing themselves that their best days were gone simply because no one ever showed them another path. But time and again, I've watched those same men prove themselves wrong the moment their bodies received the support they had been missing. It's almost as if the body had been holding its breath for years, waiting for someone to give it permission to function the way it was meant to. I remember an 86-year-old man who told me he didn't expect anything to change for him anymore. His words were heavy, almost apologetic, as if wanting more life was asking for too much. But when we restored his mineral balance and strengthened his hydration, he began to notice changes he thought were impossible at his age. Warmer feet, steadier mornings, clearer thoughts, more confidence when standing up and moving around. What moved him most wasn't the physical improvement itself, but the realization that his body still cared. His body still tried. His body still responded. And when he looked at me and said, "I didn't know I had this much life left in me," it reminded me once again how deeply the human body wants to heal, no matter how many years have passed. This is why I stress these truths so strongly. Your body is not done. Your energy is not gone. Your circulation, your clarity, your strength, they are not relics of your younger years. They are systems waiting for the right spark, the right balance, the right support to rise again. And when those pieces fall into place, men often discover a renewed sense of purpose and vitality that feels both familiar and astonishing. But now comes the question that matters most. If your body still responds at any age, what can you do today, right now, to begin unlocking that hidden potential and rebuilding the vitality you thought was lost? 9. Conclusion. Your next chapter of strength begins with one simple choice. After decades of caring for men in their later years, I've learned one truth that continues to guide every conversation I have. Your body is never finished offering you possibilities. It doesn't matter whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, the systems that keep you strong, steady, and clear-headed are still capable of responding, rebuilding, and renewing themselves when given the right support. Magnesium and sodium, as simple as they seem, are often the difference between a body that struggles and a body that thrives. When these minerals fall, your circulation weakens, your hydration becomes ineffective, and your energy dims. But when they return to balance, the internal spark that makes you feel alive begins to rise again. I've watched men who believed their best days were over rediscover their mornings, regain confidence in their steps, and reconnect with activities they thought they had permanently lost. It doesn't happen through force or complexity. It happens through understanding how your body truly works and giving it what it has quietly needed for years. The beauty of this approach is that it fits any age, any history, and any starting point. There is no deadline on reclaiming strength, no expiration date on vitality. Your next chapter can be stronger than you expect, and it begins the moment you choose to support your body's electrical foundation with intention and consistency. So as you move forward, remember this: your body has not given up on you. It is waiting for you to give it what allows it to rise. And once you do, the path ahead becomes brighter, steadier, and far more powerful than you might imagine. Now the question becomes simple. What will you choose to do with the strength that is still available to you? Now, if this message resonated with you, I'd like to invite you to support this mission of educating men over 50 about their health in a way that's honest, practical, and empowering. If you found value here, please take a moment to like this video so more men can discover the information they've been missing for years. Share it with a friend, a brother, or anyone who deserves to feel stronger in their own body again. Leave a comment below and tell me which part spoke to you the most. Your feedback helps me shape content that truly serves you. And if you believe in the work we're doing and want to help us reach even more men who need these life-changing lessons, consider donating or becoming a supporter of the channel. Every contribution, no matter the size, helps me continue creating meaningful, reliable guidance for those who need it most. Your support isn't just appreciated, it makes a real difference.